Today we have our temples, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis in my temples in California. So far we have about, I sponsor about 10 people to my temples in America. I would like to let all of you know, whoever consistently and willing to spread Dhamma and willing to responsibilities for the Dhamma spreading. So I love to welcome other Bhante, professors and devotees to join our gyms. In order to do that, we have to upload to the YouTube. Welcome Bhante Dipananda and Bhante Rangwala, Bhante Silananda from Canada to join us today. You early, Bhante. Welcome. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Yes, welcome you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Bhikkhuni Sujata. Susanta, she came from Sri Lanka. She's the first nuns I have her to be R1 to join in America with our temples. So I think we are almost there with Bhante, other people to join us. So let's see if we can start. Especially, I would like to thank for the monks very far away from Singapore, Bhante Silananda, Bhante Chandarasiri, professors, and all the Bhante to join with us today with Canada, and all my devotees from Vietnam, Cô Thảo, Phạm, and Tiên, Quỳnh, and others join with us, and especially my sister Holland. She in class right now, but she's still joining with us without the camera, and Dr. Kathy. She's with the patient right now, but she loves to join and she loves to learning what we are spreading Dhamma, and she will join with us someday and sharing with experience in life, how the patients and other people. So so far right now we have I think 19 people to join our Zoom right now. So today's is today Bhante Silananda will sharing the 4 noble truths. Bhante Silananda will teaching, sharing the noble truth with us today. So we are about to start on time right now. So now I wish every one of you to have very great days and very great evenings, and stay healthy, happy, and peace, and success in spiritual life, and success in your regular life with devotees. And thank you for joining Bhante Sugata Nanda. Welcome Nanda Sara, everyone. I respect everyone, Mahasangha, brother and sister, and all devotees today. Thank you so much. Now it's your turn, Bhante Silananda. Maybe you can introduce about yourself, very short introduction, because today we have professors Chandarasiri and Bhante Simowansha from Canada. So Bhante, please, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning, venerable sirs and Bhikkhus and dear friends in Dhamma. I am Bhante Silananda, actually originally from Sri Lanka, and right now I'm living in Singapore. I think sometimes I met Venerable Dr. Chandra Miller of I think in some of the seminars, if I right. So let's begin the lecture for today. So may I share my presentation?
Đóng cái cửa kia lại kìa. Cái kính bàn ấy.
It's ready, Bhante?
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, thank you so much, Bhante. That respectable.
Yeah, because I cannot see this.
Okay.
Sorry. Wait a moment.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, it's on right now.
This, right?
Yes. You okay, Bhante? I think the Bhante had something problem with the connections right now. How do you say your name, Bhante? Tero? How do you
Hello.
say that?
About the
Your name.
lecture.
Your name. How do
Sorry.
you say your name? Tero?
D Galli,
Oh,
Somonse. Yeah.
Digali Tero.
Yeah.
Digali
That's enough. You call me a D Galli Tero.
Tero.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today to join with us.
Yes, today, yeah, I
Yes.
was able to join.
Thank you so much, Bhante. So your schedules is Monday. Every Monday.
Yes. Every Monday we
Now I let
meditate together.
everyone to know your schedule is Monday.
Hello.
Yes. I hear you now, Bhante, Sheila.
Yeah. So today my internet is
Not that good, right? Not
yes.
good. Now it's okay. Now it's okay, Bhante. Yes. Yes, you can start now. Yes.
Okay. So these are the contents that we are going to discuss today. First of all, we are going to discuss the introductions of these presentations and why these things are called Arya Satya, and why noble truth is there, the fold way of the truth, three characteristics of the noble truth, trichotomy, 12-fold of insight, and finally the conclusion. The introduction, the Buddhist analysis of human reality, the Buddha's message is the noble truth. The Arya Satya refers to the Four Noble Truths, Chattari Arya Satchani. So, the Buddhist analytics of human reality is actually based on this noble truth, which is referring to four kind of the truths. So, which are, it's called in Chattari Arya Satchani. So, they are the noble truth of suffering. The second, the noble truth of the origins of suffering. Third, the noble truth of the sensation of suffering and the origin of suffering. The fourth, the noble truth of the path that leads to the sensation of suffering. So it is the central teachings of Buddhism. So the Four Noble Truths, Chattari Arya Satchani, is the central teachings of Buddhism, which is very unique to Buddhism. So any developed religions tries to have a solution of the problem of existence of human being. So it is a universal tendency. So all the religions today we have seen, they are always try to see a solution for the problems of existence of human being. The existence of human being is here not as a human being is the bodily, but the overall of the human being. It is the sometimes what we are feeling of in this world. We are looking a solution for it. So it is a universal tendency. It is a universal one. Everyone has to follow this one. Everyone has to face for it. So while other religions in general give the solution beyond the reality of human existence. So we can see that the other religions, in generally the other religions, their solution beyond the humanities. So they are saying what they are saying. If you having a problem, you go to the you go to the in front of the God and pray the God. The God will help to you. So that is things. So otherwise, if you are suffer in this world, in the human world, you had to do good things and go to the heaven, and then you can have a good life. So this is the things that the other religions always pretend to the human being. However, the solutions of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths, is here in this human reality. So the Buddha given a Four Noble Truths as a solution for the human existence. It is within this fathom lone body. So the fathom lone body mean is here. It is not like our entire human body, but every human existence, such as mentality existence and bodily existence. That once time the Buddha saying that if you want to see the world, see your entire body. This is the ideas came from. And the Four Noble Truths, Buddha was introduced for the first time in his first sermon of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, as everybody know it. The Buddha expressed as this. In the Kotigama Sutta, the Buddha explained as this: because it is because of not understanding and not penetrating the Four Noble Truths that you and I have roamed and wandered through this lone course of samsara. Now we can see that according to this Kotigama Sutta quotation, the Buddha explained that the benefit and the importance of to know the Four Noble Truths. So, therefore, we can apply some of the questions with regarding to in this presentation. So, why these things are called Arya Satya and why these things appear in Buddhism? Why the Noble Truth is there? So, we can ask these questions and then we can get the answer from this presentation, from this lecture is today. So our key point today, key terms are Arya Satya and Four Noble Truth, Tattari Arya Satya, etc. So why these things are called Arya Satya? Why it is called in the Noble Truth? The term Arya is a kind of historical and anthropological concept which has a racial connotation. The Aryan people are higher than others by birth. So we can see that the term Arya is a very common term in India at the time of the Buddha. Not at the time of the Buddha, even nowadays, the Arya they use it to elaborate and identify the higher class of the people. So that it is the Arya given to the higher caste people. But for the Buddha, but for the Buddhism, uses the same term. They use same term by changing the meaning. Now the term is using, but the change in the meaning. The Buddha gives a spiritual connotation to it. Now we can see that the Buddha gives a spiritual connotation to the word Arya. What is it? The Aryans are there, but not as a higher class by birth, but as a spiritual person who attained higher level of mental stages. So then in Buddhism, in Buddhist literature, the Arya is calling to the spiritual person, not the person who born in higher class, but for the spiritual person who attain a higher level of mental stages, which means the understanding of the Noble Truth. So why the Noble Truth Arya Satya is there? Why it is important to know the Arya Satya? So because it is the Noble Truth, because it discusses the human like human predicament and also explain the way out. The human predicament mean is the difficulty of the human being. So the something is unpleasant for us, which is talk about in the among the Arya Satya. And also the something is embraced into us, something embraced into the human beings, something embraced into the all the animals. So therefore, the Noble Truth is there to discuss about this situation, our difficulties, our unpleasant feelings, and the embracing situations is a discussion here. Then it is the Noble Truth because of it is served by the noble people, which refers to those who are highly realized. Now why is this important? Because it is important. It's served by the noble people, which is the Buddha, for example, and which is very higher realized person. It is by the higher realized person. And also the Buddha once said this Dhamma is not for the foolish, but for the Panyavanta, but for the knowledgeable person. So the truth is a highly realized person. So it is the important because it makes noble people such as Buddha, Pacheka Buddha, and the Arahant. So the beyond the level of the human beings. So it is important. The noble truth is important because they themselves are noble, grateful, and precious. So the noble truth is the great thing and the grateful one and precise one to understand the human being. Let us talk about the fourfold way of the truth, of the no, truth. So I hope that you can hear me.
Yes, we still hear you. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, thanks. Because I am unaware about my today the network, so that's
Yes,
why.
perfect.
So the fourfold way of truth. The four noble truth is presented by the Buddha in a fourfold ways. So we have to understand what are the fourfold ways of the Buddha presented this noble truth. The first one is the Satya. He is presented the Satya, the statement of the fact be a truth. So he explained in that way. He presents the noble truth in that way. The statement that he talk about in the noble truth, it is a such, it is a truth. And also it is a samudaya. The noble truth, the statement of the noble truth, the sources are the truth. And nirodha. So what he is talking about, there is a end. The fourth one, the magga. So to see the end, there should be a method. So everything so we are doing to end of this working. So but there should be some of the method to do it. For noble truth. So see that the three characteristics of because of special three characteristics noble truths having a special characteristic. So what are they? The noble truth is a thata, is calling thata. These four are definitely truth. Right now, it is we can say that the Buddha saying that the bhikkhu, the monk, the sangha, this truth, this four noble truths, definitely truths. And also there is a avitata. These four never fall into the false. It never become a fall. So sometimes what we are talking about, so sorry. So what we are talking about, sometimes we are talking about today. Sometimes it will become a truth after 5 days or after sometimes it become a false. But for the Buddhas, the Four Noble Truth, it is a truth, definitely truth, but it is never fall into the false. The false presentation is never been. And also the ananatha, they are do not exist in other form. So there is no any form, any different forms for this satya. The satya is the truth, is the truth. That's it. So the trichotomy, Tipirivatthana, three knowledge of realization. So there is the Four Noble Truth is comprehended in the three rounds, which call it the trichotomy, Tipirivatthana. So those are Satyanana. So these Four Noble Truths actually is comprehended into the three rounds, three methods. We can analyze the Four Noble Truth according to these three categories. The first one is the Satya Jnana. Jnana means is the knowledge here. The Satya means the truth. So the knowing the nature of the truth. Taking right reflections or view on the truth. The second one is Kicha Jnana. Knowing what needs to be done in connections with that truth. So when we see the truth, we have to do something to it. We have to like prepare ourselves to do something. So Katanyana is the accomplishing what needs to do. So now it is quite like for you and some of the our brothers and sisters who is not aware of this one. So it is a little bit difficult to understand, but the other Bhantes, other venerables, they can know, they are know about it. So, however, these three insights, which means the Satyajnana, Tijnana, and Katanyana, used for four noble truths separately, and then we can understand. So then the four noble truths comes to 12-fold of insight as follow. So these three become a 12 by analyzing the four noble truths. So here are the 12-fold of insight, which means trichotomies. So the Satyanana is the first row, and Kichanana the second, the middle row, and the Katanyana is the last, the third row. So the first we are going to talk about the suffering. So in the Satyanana, it is calling there is a suffering, there is a dukkha. So Kirtanana, it is saying that the suffering should be understood, parijñaya, which is calling that in the Dhamma Pada it is calling tanko panidan dukkha dukkhang ariya saccam parijñanti. Me bhikkave pubbe ananussutesu dhammesu chakkung udapadi, jnanang udapadi, panya udapadi, vijja udapadi, aloko udapadi. So then here, so Satya Jnana means there is a suffering, and that suffering should be understood, parijñaya. And Katha Jnana, suffering has been understood. And then here the present moments and the past. The second noble truth, there is the origins of suffering, the attachment to the desire. So desire should be let go from. Pahatabbanti maybe. Then dukkha samudaya arya satya is there. The second noble truth, dukkha samudaya arya satya means is a pahatabbanti. Maybe kave. Pahatabbanti maybe kave pubbe anasusite. So desire should be let it go from our existence. So the Katanyana, desire has been let it go. Now it is going to finish these desires. And then in the Satyajnana, the third noble truth, we can analyze this. There is the sensation of suffering, of unsatisfactoriness. So the dukkha nirodha. So here the Satyajnana is dukkha nirodha, and Kittanana become the sensation of unsatisfactoriness should be realized. Should be realized. So then the bhavetabbanti may be created. So then it is a realized, should be realized. So what is the what we call in the cause that effect? What is the answer for it? And then Katanyana, the sensation of unsatisfactoriness has been realized. Then the someone should be realized that this is the end of suffering. So this is the end of suffering, like that way. So the fourth one, the fourth noble truth, there is a path to the sensation of number. In the Satyajnana, the last one, it should be there is a path to the cessation of suffering. Right now, we know that there is a path to the sensation of suffering. There's a path. We know it. And then we had to have the Kichanyana, which means that this part should be cultivated. Satchikatabba. The Buddha says Satchikatabbanti Bhikkave Dukkha Nirdagamini Patipadariya Satchani. Then you should be, you know that there is the Magga, there is the path, but you should be cultivated it always. Then in the Kichanyana, you have the knowledge to cultivate it. And the last, you have the knowledge to realize the path, to realize in the path. So then here is the, you as a person, as a noble person, you should have knowledge to identify that this is suffering. And this is origin of suffering. This is sensation of suffering. And this is the path to sensation of suffering. And same time, the second part, you should have the knowledge of the Kirtana. You should have the knowledge to understand this one. If there is a suffering, you should be understand this suffering. And it should, there is the origin of suffering, you should be understand the let it go, that one. What are the suffering, and let it go it. And also there is the, you having a knowledge regarding the suffering. It is the cessation of suffering. So there should be, you should be realizing the cessation of unsatisfactory should be realized. Should be realized. You have the knowledge to realize it. So, and then there should be a knowledge, the path to cultivate your mind. And also at the same time, so you should have the knowledge, there is a suffer. We are suffering, there should be a knowledge to know the suffering. Because most of people, we don't know we are suffering, but actually we are suffering. So this one should be understood, that the Katanyana. And then why, when you understand there is the suffering, you should be let it go. And also the how you are let it go, you should know the way the cessation of unsatisfactory has to be there. So then you should understand, you should realize that we can let it go, these suffering. You should have the confidence on it. You have to be that skill, that knowledge, to realize that there is the end of suffering. And also you should have the skill of the katanyana, skill knowledge to realize the path, to go for the path. So these are the how we understand the noble truth. So today my conclusion is here. The Four Noble Truths is the most important teaching in every traditions of Buddhism. So it is not only belong to the Theravada Buddhism, or it is not only belong to the Mahayana Buddhism, it is not only belong to the Vajrayana Buddhism, but it is unique teaching to the Buddhism. There is no any barrier, but it is unique to the Buddhist teaching, and also it is unique to the world. So the final goal of the Buddhism can achieve through practicing the Four Noble Truths. According to the Buddhist point of view, every person in the world should understand and practice Four Noble Truths to free from all suffering in the world. The Four Noble Truth is spark awareness of suffering as the nature of existence, its cause, and how to live without it. It seems that educated people without proper study of Buddhism mercilessly criticize the basic teachings like the Four Noble Truth as an impractical, pessimistic, negative doctrine. So we can see that most of the Western side, the Westerners and others, they are thinking that the Buddhism came out to teach the first dukkha, the suffering. They are talking about the suffering always, suffering. So it is feeling like a pessimistic, negative doctrine. So they are trying to avoid it. But the Buddha said, by seeing the dukkha, we can understand, by understand the suffering, it can be help to the overcome the suffering. That is the method that Buddha wanted. So the answer to that can be seen in the Four Noble Truths itself. So if you are fully aware, fully understand about the Four Noble Truths, it become a solution, it become an answer for the yourself and for the others' views. So thank you very much for the time for our lectures. Do you have any question regarding this one or any ideas? Uh, please, you are welcome. Thank you very much uh, for listening to the lectures.
Thank you very much, Bhante Silananda, to presentation today, the Four Noble Truths. With the is it the noble truth because of it is served by the noble people, which refer to those who are highly realized. It is a noble truth because it makes noble peoples much such as the Buddha. So it is the noble truth because they themselves are nobles, grateful and appreciative. The Buddha analyzes humans reliably, It is a noble truth refer to four noble truths, which are the noble truth suffering and the noble truth of the origin of the suffering. The noble truths of the cessations of suffering and the original like that. So today with the presentation from the Bhante Silananda explanations are very much about the Four Noble Truths today. So we all understand about this when we become bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, and I understand this with a lot of devotees. They study about the Four Noble Truths. So the solutions of Buddhism is here in these human realities. We within the fathoms to the bodies, the Four Noble Truths of Buddha was introduced for the first time in his Samant Sutra teachings. Although today's Bhante Silananda explains very much about this, so I think most of the Mahasangha, Bhante, and Bhikkhunis today and devotees understand much about this. So before I explanation shortly about Vietnamese, I would like you to have any advice, any encourage, or any conclusion more for this the Four Noble Truth. Thưa quý vị, tứ diệu đế đó là những sự thật cao quý, nó được phục vụ bởi những người cao thượng, ám chỉ là những người đã từng mà giác ngộ. Chứng ngộ đó là những chân lý cao quý, nó làm nên những con người cao thượng như gọi là Đức Phật và Đức Phật độc giác và A-la-hán. Đó là chân lý cao thượng vì chính họ cao quý, biết ơn và đáng quý. Phân tích của Đức về Phật giáo, về thực tại con người. Thông điệp của Đức Phật là tứ diệu đế. Đề cập đến tứ diệu đế thì tất cả chúng ta đã đều học đến, cũng như là tất cả các Phật tử xuất gia tại gia, sự thật cao cả về khổ đế, thánh đế và nguồn gốc của khổ đau, thánh đế và sự diệt khổ, nguồn gốc diệt khổ, chân lý cao cả về con đường đưa đến sự chấm dứt khổ đau. Đó là giáo lý trung tâm của Phật giáo. Bất kỳ tôn giáo nào phát triển cũng cố gắng giải quyết các vấn đề về tồn tại của con người. Đó là một xu hướng phổ quát mà thôi. Trong khi các tôn giáo khác nói chung đưa ra giải pháp vượt ra, thì ngoài thực tế của sự tồn tại của con người thì giải pháp của Phật giáo là tứ diệu đế. Đây là trong những cái công việc mà thực tế con người chúng ta đã học hỏi cũng như đã hành. Tứ diệu đế Đức Phật đã giới thiệu lần đầu trong bài pháp đầu tiên của Ngài Chuyển Pháp Luân. Đức Phật đã bày tỏ các tỳ kheo chính vì mà không hiểu và không thấu về tứ diệu đế mà các ngươi đã lang thang và chúng ta đã trở lại trong dòng luân hồi, coi như là chúng ta cứ trở đi trở lại trong luân hồi sinh tử. Vì vậy mà hôm nay sư cô rất là vui được Bhante Silananda chia sẻ về tứ diệu đế này. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Dr. Chanda Saris today. He joined with us, and Dr. Kathy joined today with us, and all the monks, Mahasangha brothers and sisters, and all the devotees join us today. So I would like all of you, each of you, whoever have opportunities for today to share, add up a little bit about the Four Noble Truths. Anyone have any of these conclusions or sharing or add to the presentation today from Bhante Silananda? What about Bhante, Dr. Professor Chanda Siri? Do you have any conclusions or any idea, advice? What about Bhante Di Galero? Bhante, can you give
Yes.
include?
Thank you so much for our Venerable Sir explanation. Very nice explanation. I was amazing because 35 minutes how he explained this. And as well as I would like to add something. The Venerable Sir talk about these Four Noble Truths, and that is why Buddha told us, Buddha explained, one of the qualities of Dhamma is open-eye-ko. We must imagine this Four Noble Truths through our body, fathom-learned body. And as well as the suffering is not in outside, it is only in our body, myself. We must understand it. As well as we must try to live not in future or past. We must try to live in present, in this moment. We must practice. That is my idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Venerable. Thank you very much for your ideas.
Yes, thank you very much, Bhante, to have an add up to the presentations today with Bhante Silananda. Would I have anyone else to add up any ideas for these lectures, for these presentations? Can I have someone to raise your hand and say some words to the audience, to the students, to brothers and sisters here today? Cô Thảo, cô có những cái ý kiến gì về tứ diệu đế? Cô đã tham dự rất là nhiều chương trình, thì cô có add up về tứ diệu đế không?
Sư cô, con bây giờ đang nghe ạ. Đang nghe vì nếu như những cái tài liệu này tụi con có được nhận trước á, rồi để tham khảo thì tụi con sẽ hiểu sâu hơn. Còn bây giờ là vừa theo, thành cho nên tụi con còn chắc còn phải nghe lại nữa. Dạ con xin.
Cảm ơn cô rất là nhiều. Yeah, I understand most of the Vietnamese people, they learning by second language. We have to review over and over. But I expect things from Mahasangha, from monks and nuns. Anybody can add up more like Bhante, the Gaulers, Tero? Can anyone share a little bit more about this? I know it cannot explain for all, but we share a little bit. Anyone? How about Bhante Rangwala?
I'm okay. Thank you. No problem.
You don't have any idea on this presentation, the phone number 2? Okay. This is the presentations today for, I think, from the 6 times of Bhante Silananda with Bich Lien International Institute. I will upload this again on our YouTube, and the people can review from 1 to 6. And today special, I know for Vietnamese people, they can learn review, and either the monks and Mahasangha. I think all of us should learn days by days, over and over, instead to understand and expression ourselves. So I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the Mahasangha, doctors and professors to be with us today. I wish you and each and one of and every one of you to be healthy, happy, and peacefully, to be success in spiritual life, to spread the Dharma to the world with Bich Lien International Buddhist Institute. So thank you so much for your time to with us, like Monday to Thursday, from 8 mornings in California, and in Vietnam 10 p.m. in the evenings, and 10:30 in Sri Lanka, and about 11:30 or something in Singapore and Thailand. Thank you so much for your time. And sư cô rất là cảm ơn đến tất cả quý Phật tử xa gần đã xem cái chương trình của Bich Lien International Buddhist Institute này mỗi tuần trong ngày từ thứ Hai đến thứ Sáu. Mục đích hầu là đem lại cái sự phát triển cho Phật giáo, cũng như chia sẻ Phật pháp trong đời sống của tất cả chư tôn đức tăng ni đã học qua, và chia sẻ lại cùng với nhau, ôn lại những gì Phật dạy, và cũng như chia sẻ cùng với Phật tử. Hy vọng là cái chương trình này sẽ có lợi ích cho tất cả quý Phật tử gần xa. Và sư cô cũng xin nhận tất cả những ý kiến đóng góp xây dựng của tất cả quý vị để chương trình này sẽ được phong phú đa dạng hơn. Cảm ơn tất cả quý Phật tử đã dành thời gian quý báu đến với chương trình từ thứ Hai đến thứ Năm, 8 giờ sáng tại Mỹ cho đến 8 giờ 40 hoặc là 8 giờ 50 phút vào buổi tối, khoảng chừng 10 giờ đến 11 giờ tại Việt Nam và các nước khác. Sư cô kính chúc toàn thể quý vị cùng gia quyến một buổi tối thật là an lành, hạnh phúc, một giấc ngủ ngon và nhiều mộng đẹp. Chúc tất cả các gia đình được làm ăn thịnh vượng và thành công trong cuộc sống của mình. Cảm ơn cô Thảo, cảm ơn con nghe Như Tâm, Khánh Tâm, Thủy Tiên, Được Quỳnh, tất cả quý Phật tử. Thank you so much for Bhante Satibanta families, that the big families join us together. So thank you so much for all of your times, and I wish you have a very healthy and very happy families, and we see you tomorrow morning the same time. Okay, thank you very much. Xin trân trọng kính chào.
Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Bhante. Thank you for all your times.
Thank you.